Okay, welcome to my blog. We're starting a little bit late today. It's the 6th of August. Hello from everybody here. So, the Minister of Justice is threatening to fight for this nationality law, which we will speak about this later. I have a surprise for you at the end. I prepared something that might be interesting to refer to. As I said again, I have mixed feelings because I do think that I wonder about the timing. I wonder about the way it's been done more than anything, but it definitely has brought up a lot of issues. And now there's a sharp increase in the number of offenses, serious sex offenses, great. And now another horrible, this is sort of like, this is where ours is sort of gossipy. The families of these soldiers who want their bodies back claim the Prime Minister yelled at them and called them liars. I don't know, but this whole battle, it just seems to me very, very sad. Yeah, it's just really sad that people put such an emphasis on a dead body. They were wonderful people that died, but I don't know what they're doing exactly when there's so many people that are, suffering and that are living. Anyway, in Syria, they say they accuse the Mossad of assassinating, how do you say it? A developer of chemical weapons and rockets. Good for us. And let's see what's on the inside. The caricature, my favorite part. These are the Druze. And who is this talking to them? Says we are declaring the establishment of a Druze country. I'm really happy about this caricature. It shows that we have a sense of humor. The editorial is against Netanyahu. That is liar, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. And then we have a Uda Bashawa. Who is he? He wants Den Haag in Israel, the right has decided against all logic to break the iron fist, and 7 years this country is abusing Arabs, blah, 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 blah. And no, today, after this national law, Israel is apartheid states. All right, so we have an answer to that one. I will have the answer soon. And everybody's attacking Netanyahu, the parents of the dead soldiers. I mean, you send just your children to fight in the army, they died, and now you're attacking the Prime Minister because he doesn't get their bodies back from the Hamas. And getting into, I don't know, a very low level of dealing with, I don't think respects their son's memory at all. It's, good news, there's going to be an opera in the park. Good to know that the mayor of Tel Aviv is using the money. God knows he doesn't do anything for the sidewalks and keeping electrical bikes away. And it's good to know that the mayor of Tel Aviv is using the money instead of creating a good bike path by spending a lot of money on creating these extravagant opera shows. Last year I was at one, and I don't think any European city would even come close to how much he invested. I mean, he invests a lot of money in this operas. It's a good distraction. So here's the usual journalist at the back page. Racism. Okay. So before we go to the cultural section, actually let's have a poem before we go on. I will translate this poem. Challah. In the first years we were together, entwined like bread, the sweet bread of Shabbat, until the bread machine came and sliced us to daily bread. Wow. I don't know. I can imagine where the metaphor comes from. Yehuda Amichai has a beautiful poem using metaphors of bread, but the way he does it is very subtle. I mean, to actually say slicing in a machine, I don't know. I mean, come on, is this poetry? Sorry. I'm going to try to send a poem. Let's see if I'll publish it. And there's something about tattoos, face tattoos. And in a small little article, if you think tattoos make people happy, Zombie Boy committed suicide at the age of 32, which is very sad. Shows you that investing in the outer appearance doesn't bring you inner happiness. Anyway. And feminism. Feminism. This has a lot of feminism, about feminism and the way communism promoted feminism. And, well, it's an interesting debate, but I really am tired of it. So I'm pointing now to what I found, this article I was researching. Zionism is not racism. A speech 40 years ago by Chaim Herzog, who was a man that you cannot say praise enough. People like that we don't have anymore in politics, sadly. And his son, who I actually know, and not know, but seen, and I studied with his sister at the university, though we were not friends or acquaintances even. His son was supposed to be leading the Labour Party, and sadly he had left it, and he was not able to do anything. But his father was amazing. And on Wednesday, a special event it will be 40 years. The UN resolution which declared Zionism as racism, because this is coming up again. So it's a very long speech. He, of course, brings up the Holocaust, and let me see how I can focus on the resolution against Zionism, originally condemning racism and colonialism, a subject on which we could have achieved consensus, which is of great importance to all of us and to our African colleagues in particular. However, instead of permitting this to happen, a group of countries, drunk with the feeling of power inherent in their automatic majority, without regard to the importance of achieving a consensus on this issue, railroaded the UN in contemptuous maneuver by the use of the automatic majority into bracketing Zionism with the subject under discussion. So, I do not come to this rostrum to defend the moral and historical values of the Jewish people. They do not need to be defended, they speak for themselves. They have given to mankind much of what is great and eternal. They have done for the spirit of man more than can readily be appreciated by a forum such as this one. I come to denounce the two great evils which menace society in general and a society of nations in particular. These two evils are hatred and ignorance. Okay, these two evils are the motivating force behind the opponents of this resolution and their supporters. The key to understanding Zionism is its name. The establishment of the two hills of ancient Jerusalem during the 10th century BCE was called Zion. In fact, the name Zion refers to Jerusalem, appearing 152 times in the Old Testament. The name is overwhelmingly a poetic and prophetic designation. The religious and emotional qualities of the name arise from the importance of Jerusalem as the royal city and the city of the temple. Mount Zion is a place where God dwells. Jerusalem or Zion is a place where the Lord is king and where he has installed his King David. King David made Jerusalem the capital of Israel almost 3,000 years ago, and Jerusalem has remained the capital ever since. During the centuries, the term Zion grew and expanded to mean the whole of Israel. The Israelites in exile could not forget Zion. While praying to God, every Jew wherever he is in the world faces towards Jerusalem. For over 2,000 years of exile, these prayers have expressed the yearning of the Jewish people to return to their ancient homeland. In fact, a continuous Jewish presence in larger or smaller numbers has been maintained in the country over the centuries. Zionism is the name of the national movement of the Jewish people and its modern expression of the ancient Jewish heritage. The Zionist ideal, as set out in the Bible, has been and is an integral part of the Jewish religion. Zionism is to the Jewish people what the liberation movements of Africa and Asia has been to their people. Okay. Zionism is nothing more, also nothing less, than the Jewish people's sense of origin and destination in the land linked eternally with its name, as Abba Evan said. Okay, so I'm skipping. This is a very long speech which you can find online and read. It's a very moving speech and goes into many, many details of the Middle East. And for us, the Jewish people, this resolution is based on hatred, falsehood, and arrogance, and it's devoid of any moral or legal value. So the question is, what happened that this speech, that took place in the UN by this amazing person who's either a son or a grandson of a rabbi, chief rabbi of Ireland, I believe. A person who has a very strong sense of identity, a lot of knowledge of where he comes from. This was made in 1975, and now we're 2018. This debate is still going on. Is Zionism racism? Having lived in Europe, I don't think there's any country that accepts everybody and that has treats everybody the same, without exception. And sadly, I will say that, very sadly. And I really do wish that everybody would be treated equally here. But to say that Zionism is racism again is sort of sad. It's really sad because it really ignores the reason why we're here, really. Why are we here? If you look at people here and you ask where their families come from, whether it's Europe or Arab lands, they didn't come here on vacation. They didn't come here to colonize this country. They didn't say, oh, like America or any English-speaking country today, which is a lot of them. They're all colonized by people who were looking to make a profit. People didn't come to Israel to make a profit. This country had nothing. And now it's so different than its neighboring countries in every single way. Technology, culturally, everywhere. It's every field. It's just doing so much better than its neighbors in a lot of nations. So instead of being proud of that, we always have to beat ourselves up and say how we are ashamed of who we are. But I think it's sad. It's a moment of sadness for me to be living in such times. People are so ignorant of history. I think we should invest in education more, less in anything else. Peace, love, and light. Thank you for listening, and wish you a good day. And to read this article, you can find it online. The speech of Herzog